So you've probably seen a lot of videos out there from content creators talking about this new champion from the new faction, the Argonites, and why they feel that this champion is a must fuse or can't miss fusion. But if you're on the fence and you're not sure if you want to fuse this champion, this might be the video for you. So let's not do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hollywood here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. I hope your 2026 is off to a fantastic start. On the video today, we're going to be discussing the new Fusion Event Champion from the new faction, the Argonites. Here we have Kassandra, who is a Magic Affinity Attack Champion from the new faction, the Argonites, and she's also a collab champion with the Assassin's Creed collab event going on right now until the 8th of April. You've probably been seeing a lot of videos out there calling Kassandra a must-fuse champion, or this being a must-fuse champion event. Now, if you are on the fence about fusing Kassandra, and you aren't sure if you want to have her on your roster or not, I've compiled half a dozen reasons here why I will be skipping this fusion event. So the first determining factor here, if you want to fuse this champion or not, or go for a lot of these other champions with this Assassin's Creed collab event going on right now, is if you played a lot of Assassin's Creed. For me, I didn't grow up with Assassin's Creed or playing Assassin's Creed like I did with the last collab event, the Turtles. So I don't have the FOMO or the fear of missing out on these champions like I would have with the Turtles. So I can be a little more objective about their kits and how they compare to other champions overall on my roster. Is Kassandra the type of champion you need on your current roster? Or do you have other champions that can fill these roles? Her A1 attacks one enemy 3 times, attacks one enemy 6 times instead if this champion has 50 HP or less. Now, keeping this champion on 50 HP or less is not an ideal situation. It's probably something I wouldn't be doing very often on my own teams. I usually like to keep my heroes pretty topped up when I do my events and I do my battles. Each hit decreases the enemy's turn meter by 7.5% and increases this champion's turn meter by 7.5%. This effect cannot be resisted if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. The interesting thing here is that Kassandra doesn't bring her own Perfect Veil buff, and she relies on other champions to have a Perfect Veil buff placed on her. So if you don't have a champion that places the Perfect Veil buff, or you may not be getting one of the Assassin's Creed champions that places the Perfect Veil buff, part of her kit here is dependent on whether or not she will have a Perfect Veil buff on her. Let's look at her A2. Attacks one enemy. Before attacking, places a 60% decreased defense debuff and an HP burn debuff on the target for 3 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. Places a stun debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if the damage dealt by this skill is more than 50% of the target's max HP. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. So again, she's dependent here without the need for accuracy if she has a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. The bulk of her kit here is hitting one enemy. She does have a stun here for all enemies if the damage dealt by this skill is more than 50% of the target's max HP. So she has to do a lot of damage on that to place the stun. The HP burn is nice, and her single target abilities would be useful on bosses like the clan boss and other bosses like Fire Knight. But do you need a champion like this? Or do you have a champion that can already fill this kind of a role? Let's take a look at her A3. Isu's Blessing removes all debuffs from this champion, heals them by 50% of their max HP, and fills their turn meter by 50%, so she's got a self-heal. Places a 50% increase attack buff and a 15% shatter buff and a 30% increase speed buff on this champion for 2 turns. Passive effect. Prevents this champion's death and keeps them alive on 1 HP if they are under an increase attack buff, shatter buff, and increase speed buff. The interesting thing about this is it's booked to 4-turn cooldown, so she would have to have this on herself in order to prevent their death. That's for 2 turns, so it's unlikely she would have that on herself. So that's kind of an interesting piece of her kit there. She's got another passive here. Whenever this champion attacks an enemy, increases this champion's attack by an amount equal to 50% of the target's defense. Whenever an enemy attacks this champion, increases this champion's defense by an amount equal to 50% of the attacker's attack. So this is a pretty interesting passive. And she's also got a speed aura in all battles by 19%. So if you don't have a speed lead, she can be a useful champion. There are quite a few champions out there that do have speed auras, so if you do already have a speed aura champion, this champion may not fill that spot or may not take that spot from the other champion that you use with your speed aura. So going into the third reason here that you may or may not want to fuse this champion is, what do your resources look like? These are my current resources here. I'm pretty low on sacred shards at the moment. And right now we have a champion chase tournament going on. And if you look at my sacred shards here, I have 6 sacred shards, and the sacred shards are currently on a 2x event. And the sacred shard is not the best shard, or not the most optimal shard for a champion chase tournament. So most optimally, you may probably want an ancient shard event for a champion chase event, because you can have a lot of shards to pull and you'll get lots of epics in those pulls, so you'll get lots of points. So if you look at the calendar here, we have 2 other Summon Rush events. The first one starts on January 16th and the second one starts on January 20th. Those are pretty close together, and I'm not sure how many shards those are going to need, but this looks like a pretty shard heavy event and a pretty resource heavy event. So taking a look at my own shards here, I don't have that many void shards, I don't have that many sacred shards. I do have ancient shards, but most optimally those would be the kind of shards I would want for a champion chase event, but we don't have a 2x event going on right now for ancient shards. So what I am going to do is I'm going to save my shards. So along those same lines of saving for resources for other events is reason number 4. Last February we also had the Esme and Moto fusion, which were quite good champions that worked well together. And typically in February there is kind of a sort of a companions type fusion event where you get good champions that work well together. So that is one to possibly save for in February. I don't know what February's fusion is going to be, but it could be very good fusion. So again, along those lines, reason number 5 is the anniversary event fusion in March. The last 2 were Armands and Fabian, and those were fantastic fusion events. So we will want to make sure that we have enough resources in March. So reason number 6 here would be the fact that this collab event lasts for 3 months. And considering that we do have 2 more fusions before the Assassin's Creed collab wraps up, we should have plenty more opportunities to pull Kassandra from a shard within those next 3 months. Similar to how we had several opportunities to pull for Donatello in the Turtles collaboration event. So those were some short and sweet reasons why you may or may not want to fuse this champion. You may want to save your resources. You may want to try again at a later date when your resources are better to try and pull this champion from a shard. So today on Raid Shadow Legends we had quite a few glitches. We got a bunch of live arena tokens today in the mail because of the glitches here on the game. So I'll probably do a little bit of bonus content for you here, live arena, if you want to stick around for that. And if you don't want to stick around for that, well then just head off to the end of the video where I say goodbye. Anyway, I'll do a little bit of live arena for you guys, just for some entertainment here. Let's head over to the live arena and see if we can get a few wins. Hook 909. Let's see what you got. Gonna start off with Fabian here. They banned my Lazarius, which is interesting because Lazarius doesn't usually get banned. It's usually Fabian that gets banned. But Fabian is a tough character to deal with as well. And I'm going first here. Put the Death Brand on that character and attack with Tholen. Not too bad. And I'll do a group attack here with the Queen. Let's see if we can get... Yes, we do. Right on. First win. Find another opponent. Moo 70. Alice. So I'll ban Armand's there because he's a pain to deal with. And that's the third straight person that's banned Lazarius. That's interesting. He's never usually banned. But my Fabian's pretty fast too, so we'll see what happens here. Oh, and I'm first up again. Put the cooldown on them. And let's see if I can get Thor here. Yeah. Is Michelangelo. Oh, he just left the battle. Let's try again here. See what we got. One other thing about the Queen of Hearts is that she's a really good counter to Sun Wukong because she has a Death Brand that she can place on characters. So when she does that, you take them out once and they don't come back. Gonna ban her Mithrala because she can do a cleanse on the team. Good support character. Let's see who they ban here. Oh, they banned Fabian. So I'll make Lazarius the leader. When I use this composition, it's usually Fabian that's banned. He gets banned quite a bit. If the opponent uses Fabian, I'll usually use an Arbiter there. And I got the speed lead here, so that's good. I'll put a block buffs on them. Throw the Death Brand on Sun Wukong, and let's see if we can take him out here. Yeah, good stuff. Gonna pull my little chest here for 5 wins today. Let's see what I got out of this. Yeah, good stuff. Try and find another one here. Trying to win. Aren't we all trying to win? See if I can get a win out of this one, or if trying to win will get a win. We're all just doing our best here. They went with Arbiter, so I'll go with Fabian and Lazarius for my speeds. I think Arbiter's been power crept quite a bit now. She offers some speed lead, but she doesn't really do a whole lot else. When she gives her opponent speed, it takes away her heal first up, so she doesn't have that available, which isn't optimal. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what happens. The buff they gave to Raglan is really good, and even with a lot of good healer characters, I still use Raglan for Live Arena. I think she's a very good character. She was my very first Void Legendary pull that I got, Raglan. I think to date I've only pulled 3 Void legendary characters. Oh. I got a fast team here. So I'll cleanse my group here and see what else I can do here. Oh, he left the battle. Oh, I got another chest. Right on. Look at that. I got my 35 win chest. Let's open that and see what we got here. See if we got anything good. All right. I got 115 primal quartz. That's not bad. Yeah, that one's all right. Okay, let's find ourselves another battle here. Having some pretty good luck or good fortune today in the live arena. Both of those are really hard hitters, so they can one-shot me with both of those. Wow, we got a bit of a Kraken here. He's got a bunch of mythicals. And they banned my mythical, the only one I have. Alright. Well, I got 3 mythicals, but the only one I have using it in this battle. So Gizmak can hit pretty hard here. Gizmak has got a big smack. See if he'll be able to get that off and see if he'll be able to hit me or not. But I got the speed lead here, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, we can shut them down. I got the fear off on Gizmak, so he may not get his smack out there. Good stuff. Give my guys a cleanse. Theodosia's a wicked character, man. I wish I had her. He's got the unkillable on there. And we just have Loki left. Right on. He should be alright to deal with. Toast. Right on. Theodosia is probably one of my most wanted mythics. If I ever get another mythic, she'd be one I'd like to have. Well, I think that was a good one to wrap it up there, and don't want to last too long in this video here. See how many of those battles I put in this video. Don't want to make the video go too long here. And to everyone who stopped by today and watched the video, thank you very much. And until next time, peace.